All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Quick Sticks. We are back, Matt, James, and Sam, coming to you guys live with our championship preview episode. We have made it.
Wow.
How we feeling, boys?
I'm excited for y'all. Good for
Are
you.
you? I
Good for
noticed
you
you
guys.
have your jersey on.
He does have a jersey on.
Hey, MVP. Proud of my boy.
That's fair. That's fair.
Proud
he
of
deserves
one
it.
boy. That's
Deserves
I'm
it.
proud of
Yeah,
my whole
he does.
team.
He deserves it.
So we obviously wanted to focus on the upcoming championship this Sunday, but we first wanted to talk about the semifinals last weekend, which were in DC at Audi Stadium. You two gentlemen were actually there, field seats.
Amazing.
I want to hear, how was the weekend? How were the seats? How were the games? Who did you see? How was the weekend?
It was amazing, honestly. It was being that close to the game was you realize how fast it is, man. I mean, the fast, like once they pick up the ball, it's 2 passes and it's already on the other side of the field. It's just different being that close.
Yep.
But Sam actually missed out on this, so sorry.
Whatever.
Sam.
Whatever.
He went to go get some food.
Whatever.
Romar and Trevor walked by our seats, so I got to
picks.
both of them up, and then we saw Paul and Mike a couple times too.
Paul looked at me. He waved at me.
Did you yell like a bunch of 8-year-olds at him?
I did. Yeah.
Honestly, kind of. Yeah. I was like, Paul.
Yeah. little high pitch. Yep.
Yeah. But no, we were definitely really happy because the weather turned out to be perfect. It was supposed to rain all day, and then it didn't for the games. And I don't know. I need to go to more PLL games, man. The energy at those games is really awesome.
They definitely need to make more of Audi Stadium too, because that's a great venue for a lacrosse
100%.
venue.
100%.
Because it's a more steep seating stadium, so you just, regardless of where you sit, you have a good view of the field, and it's not like super steep FedEx version where you're basically watching dots if you're on the upper level. No matter where you're sitting, it's a good venue. So other than that, missing those guys walked by because did my thing. But other than that, echoing what James said, the speed of it live versus what we see on TV is insane. Watching Courier go after ground balls was crazy. And just seeing how fast defensemen collapse when Rambo gets topside or something crazy in the middle, it's definitely an experience. It's awesome.
Well, I was thinking about that because in Charlotte we got to see Water Dogs, Whip Snakes, and then you guys have actually seen that twice, and both times it's turned out to be
one goal games,
one of the best games of the season
by far.
Yep.
Wow.
And you're talking about two of probably the fastest moving teams in the league.
I think what Sam just said about Courier is so accurate. Watching him in the middle of the field, I mean, one thing, he doesn't break stride when he gets ground balls. I think that's what makes him so good, because he's full speed all the way until he picks up the ball. It's crazy. It's really wild to watch in person. And it makes you realize how hard the goalie position is when we were on the field for some of those shots, because you can't see it. Dude, they let it go. Sometimes, even when we were watching the Chaos game particularly, sometimes they would shoot. And I would say, does Blaze have it? And he's outletting the ball. I'm I literally didn't even see the ball go out. So I don't know how they see that. It's crazy.
That's kind of tight. Was it $3 beers?
No $3 beers, but started off with a nice double margarita for both of us. Get us started. Then we went with some double whiskey gingers they had makers.
Good God.
We were big fans, huge fans. Got to we actually met Kyle Hertel's cousin in the stands. He was behind us and started talking to us about the podcast, who we talked to, and all that. So that was pretty cool. That was really cool to kind of see
branding. Love that.
Yeah.
What's he talking shit about on COD? He said he runs COD with all the guys and
Yeah, he said Marcus is terrible. But it kind of makes sense because Marcus spent all his high school years on the field. He was shooting. He didn't spend all his getting his KD down. So no, all in. DC was amazing. If and when they come back to DC, I'm never missing a PLL game. I can't.
Nope.
I think
very well run.
I think I got to make the trek up next time that happens, especially if it's postseason.
We'll just do that.
100%. 100%.
I'll do it. Well, let's talk about them. So there were 2 games, obviously, this weekend. First game you guys saw was Water Dogs, Whip Snakes, which both games were pretty good. I think this was the better of the 2. Seeing it live may have been different, but
no, It was, in my opinion. I mean, not that the game wasn't, but I thought it was.
Too.
I think, I don't know, man. Like, they were evenly matched the entire time, in my opinion. Like, it was a back and forth game. I think at the end, in my opinion, when we saw that Rambo like get topside and then his stick break and then Water Dogs go down, and I can't remember if they scored on that possession or not.
They did. They should have. Would have been the goal of the year. That give and go. Yeah.
But I think that that was the momentum change to me. Is, I don't know, that little scenario happened right there. I don't know. In the stadium, I felt that change, but I could be wrong.
I get that.
What do you think?
I get that. I think it's I don't know if it's actually just him stopping Rambo, but like to have arguably the best attackman just have his stick break, regardless if it's a good check or bad check. It just seems like, yeah, right. It seems like a symbol of like, we're taking them down, right? Like that's what it really seemed like. And then what kind of was on top of that was Rambo had to use his backup, and his first 2 shots after that was very evident. He has not shot with that backup too much. Because I was just watching the game before he hopped on. He turns lefty, and that ball might have hit Arlington, which is about 30 minutes away. Like it went so high up in the stands. And like, if people don't understand, you bring 2 sticks to the game, but obviously you don't play with your backup as much. And there's just things like touch and feel and speed that you really have with your gamer, but you might not have with your backup. So I feel like if Rambo had some time to maybe warm up a little bit with that stick, it would have been better. But it was just a downhill thing after that thing broke. You know?
But the energy of that game was great.
Wild. There's a lot of Water Dog fans, man. There's like a lot of Water Dog fans. Like that was
nice.
I think it was evenly split at that stadium. Like when they did,
I feel like Whip Snakes have a lot of fans just nationwide.
I mean, they have like
close to Maryland.
They have like 30,000 followers on Instagram, man. Like they have,
which I mean, like, you know, I think so. I don't know if Water Dogs have more. A lot of that has to do with Big Cat and PFT from Barstool being like the owners of the team,
for sure,
which has gotten them a lot of exposure. But I'm like, yeah, like it's like any sport. I mean, not that every, Whip Snakes fan is a bandwagon, but you're talking about a team that's been in the championship every year since the league was created. Of course, they're gonna have the most.
Yeah, they're definitely
right. It's easy. I mean, how many Bulls fans did we have in the '90s? Right, like that's
probably a lot. Sam.
Another game, another game where the one team who won the faceoffs lost. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was back and forth. I mean, the Whip Snakes had a 1-2 goal lead most of the game, but the Water Dogs were down 10-8 with 8 minutes left, and they held the Whip Snakes scoreless for the last 8 minutes, which watching the game, you didn't realize.
I didn't.
I mean, you realized I would have said the last 4 minutes, but last 8 minutes.
8 minutes of the game, the Whip Snakes didn't score?
The last 8 minutes.
I mean, dude, Dylan Ward was playing outstanding too.
Dude, okay, we need to talk about that. Being that close to the field, his high arc looks insane, dude. When they come around the cage, he steps out like 4, maybe.
He steps out very far.
Very far. Like it looks like unnerving. It's so wrong. Yeah, it's very unnerving. Like being that close, he's like outside of the crease and his stick is out. So I was like, that's crazy.
I do have to say, I don't know if Michael Sowers just found this inside roll move, but
no, he's had it.
I mean, he's been using it a lot more, and I hope every possession he uses this move against the Chaos, because every defender when he's at X is so worried about shit, he's gonna beat me.
Right.
So you have to stay on your toes.
Right.
But then he stops on a dime and rolls inside. Dude, there is no defender who has the footwork to keep up with that.
Especially if you're above 6 feet tall, man.
Like, exactly.
You're not stopping on that one step over the cage. I don't know. This might be considered a hot take, but I think without Sowers, McCardle, and who's the third guy who got hurt? Schlosser?
Schlosser, yeah.
Yeah. I would just say McCardle and Sowers. I think this is a 4-goal game. Easily. Because Sowers did not dodge for the entire fourth quarter because he couldn't. We were watching the game. He picked up the ball on the other line one time, made one split, and you could just see him kind of pull up on that leg that he just got rid of it. He didn't dodge one time after he either cramped or whatever injury happened. So I think that was a blessing for the Whip Snakes because they didn't have an answer. I mean, he scored the first 2 goals like no problem. So
3.
I think, I think he scores a lot more, especially when they have that drought you're talking about. I feel like he kind of runs them the last couple minutes without getting hurt. But
Yeah,
it
that
all
was
worked out.
huge. I mean,
It all worked out.
I said last week the only way the Water Dogs win this game is if Ward outplays Burnlore and Jake Withers can compete with Joe Nardell at faceoff.
Yep.
And Dylan Ward outplayed Burnmore,
Yep.
and Jake Withers did, it was a pretty even split at faceoff. So I was like,
Wow.
those were the two things that needed to happen for the Water Dogs to win, and they did.
What was weird was watching Zed come alive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
for
that
all
was
the
kind of
games,
odd.
it was just like, where's he been all season? And then when he kind of shows up, they still lose. It's just interesting. But as we know in sports,
I will say
my
my unsung hero of the game was Matt Witcher. Matt Witcher scored to tie the game up with 3 minutes left.
Cannon.
That on the run, yeah.
Absolute last person I would have expected to score that goal. He's a shorty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
and it was a
he's
well-placed
not
ball.
a scorer.
It was
it was a great shot.
Top
Great
left.
shot. And if he misses that shot, I think they end up losing the game because that was with 3 minutes left. They had to tie that game up. Yeah. Every time they'd get within one, Whipsnakes would get it back to 2.
Yeah, and there was a big play at the end when you guys were trying to kill the last, I think, minute of the game. The Whipsnakes actually turned you guys over, and then you guys the Whipsnakes tried to clear it, and then you guys picked it off on that clear. Like, that was a massive, like a huge play. That was right on our sideline, too. That was really crazy. Damn. And everyone was standing up for the last 30 seconds, too. It was really crazy. And everyone in our section were like going with the Dogs. I didn't realize that Zed led all scores. That's crazy. He went 2-2. It's wild. Yeah, they needed that.
It was nice to see him come alive. It was a little too late, but
it was. But I'm glad McCardle had the winner because I still think he's in the MVP conversation and could have been.
That was just like sweet justice to Water Dogs.
Exactly. It was like he's that good, and that play was awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm as stunned as I picked the Water Dogs just because I had to. I thought for sure we'd have the Whipsnakes back in the championship for what, a 4th year.
Jesus, 4th year, yeah.
So we officially have our first championship in the PLL that will not feature the Whipsnakes.
All good things come to an end.
For one, am beyond excited. So
I'm excited for you guys, man. Even though I'm going against you, I'm excited for you guys.
I appreciate
for an expansion team to be in the championship already. That's good.
It's big. It's
good for the league.
Seriously. It is. I agree. So Water Dogs get the win. They are moving on. They will be playing in the championship versus the winner of Archer's Chaos, which was our second game of the weekend. James, I will turn it over to you since your Chaos got the dub. What did they do to beat the powerhouse offense of Archers?
First, Max Adler played out of his freaking mind.
Yes,
like out of his mind. I mean, he was winning the ball clean for like an entire quarter. Like, we weren't even worried about getting the ball. Second thing is it's just Blaze. It's just Blaze. He is so good. And we were in the stands with a guy who I think he said he was like a goalie coach. And he was noting that Blaze's technique is terrible when it comes to goalies. You would never teach a goalie to play the way Blaze does because he baits people so much that he keeps his hands low, which is like the opposite thing you're supposed to do as a goalie. But it's because he has the quickest hands in the league and he can get up quicker. But it was interesting hearing like a goalie coach talk about, I would never tell my goalie to play like that because if you're not good enough, you'll get scored on every time because there's not enough time to get back up unless you know. So that was amazing. And then the last thing, I mean, Kluche. Easily.
Kluche looked damn good.
Multiple times that we were late in the shot clock and needed something. And I also think the way that he was scoring ended up being like a momentum for us. Like that backhand shot, like to me, if I'm an offense, I'm like, yo, they can't stop us. Like if that's going in, like let's go. So
I've watched that replay about
so many
20 times.
It's up there for goal of the year, man. I mean,
it was the placement in the corner of that ball.
It's in the corner. He's getting checked. He's getting pushed. Like, So those three things came together.
And what do you say as the defensive coach? Like, it was great defense.
It was. And that's what I was trying to tell Sam. One, he cut down like 30, 40 pounds since college. But when he was at UNC, I think he realized that the only way he was going to be able to play lacrosse at that level was I have to play back to the quote unquote basket. And he's learned to shoot from there because no one can get the stick from him. So it's kind of like his own version of a fadeaway. You know, it's like Dirk's fadeaway.
And it's deadly, dude.
There.
Yeah.
I still know how to get the speed on it, you know?
I know. It's unnerving, I'll say.
It should be.
No, it was a classic chaos game. It was good defense. It was great goaltending, and you guys were finally grinding on things like face-offs and ground balls, which we have
Ground balls
not
were huge.
seen all season. But again, like it's another week of, I just think the Chaos have the experience in the playoffs and know, not that the Archers are unaware of if we lose, we go home, but it just, I feel like that mentality means so much, and the Chaos just have it of like, we want to get back to where we were. Like we enjoyed last season so much, we want to do it again.
Yeah, and like,
and when you've gotten that championship taste, it's like it's such better fuel than someone who hasn't had it.
and you've seen the whole like NLL rematch we're getting, right? Like that, I think that played a part in this.
That's
so
true.
It's Josh,
That's right.
Cloutier. It's four of them. It's four guys. Dane Smith, all those guys. They get to play against Dylan Ward,
Yeah.
who won the championship on them. So I feel like that had a lot to do with it. Once they saw the Dogs win, they're like, dude, we need our shot. We got to get him back. So I feel like that played a part, and it has to, because you can win a.
So it's gonna hurt twice as bad when Ward beats you guys again.
What do you say?
You
Wait
know,
till
once-
Josh issues one of these.
Oh man. You know what was
If
crazy?
that happens, I'm turning the game off.
Neither game had a 2-point goal, which I thought
Wow.
was
Wow.
yeah.
Look at Sam Analytics over here. Didn't notice that.
And I think that's a reason why we didn't see an Archers win. Is I think those guys, they have shooters. Like what's his name, Manny. We didn't see a lot from him. I know they relied on him early in this season. He was early MVP talks because of those shots. Like he was placing them. He was owning the corners early. So I was shocked we didn't see a lot of 2-pointers from him, or just in general.
By the way, I kind of feel like Will Manny got benched.
I think he did.
I think he
Like
did.
like the guys behind us were trying to talk. They're like, "Oh, they're running him through the box." I was like, "No, they're not." Like he's running through the box with like 10 seconds left on the shot clock. And Connor Fields is playing down low. You got benched. Like
I don't think they were running through anything.
They also shot 18%.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Is on the flip side, I mean, Archers just looked sloppy on offense. It was bad passing. It was poor. I mean, it looked like 4 shots, which, again, speaks to Chaos defensive strategy. But Connor Fields only took 3 shots. That can't happen.
Are you serious?
Will Manny was 0 for 5. Grant Ament was 1 for 4. Tom Schreiber was 1 for 9. So it's like,
wait,
I don't know if that was
not 1 for 9.
Yeah,
he
was 1 for 9.
Crazy to get that.
I'm pretty sure it was 1.
Midfield of the Year award after going 1 for 9. I'm just saying. I mean, he still deserves it. I'm saying.
Spoilers.
I'm saying.
That is kind of spoilers. Now, Matt, I will say it might not.
He was 1 for 9, 11%.
It might not have felt that way on TV, but when the ball was in Blaze's shorts, like everyone was like, it was dead silent because people thought it might have trickled in because Jack Rowlett dove behind it, and everyone was like, "Dude, I think it trickled in. I think we have a tie game."
So the funny thing,
like,
and
really
you guys,
intense.
unless they showed it on the jumbotron there, so the ball gets stuck in his shorts, but as soon as that happens, Rowlett dives into the net, and his hand covered the in-net camera.
Yeah, you can see him dive and go like this.
So like they kept wanting to show that view, but his hand was covering the camera. So like once it was in Blaze's shorts, you couldn't see what happened after that. So I was at home like,
heads up,
holy shit, this is a goal.
Heads up by Jack.
That was huge. Yeah, I mean, just a great effort by Rowlett, but I was like, if that goes in, that's a different ball game.
Not to mention, as the Chaos, like you're kind of checked out. No way we come back and score a goal after after all that.
Well, and then I texted you 2.8% because I was like, oh, the game's over. And then they put 10 seconds back on the clock and Archers had the ball. And I was like, Chaos had the ball. But I was like, dude, if they turn this over and Archers hit it too, I'm gonna feel like a jackass.
That would have been That would have been so bad. I don't even know what I would have. I don't know what I would have done.
I would have just said bye to you. You would have just left.
Yeah, it would have deleted my number, I think.
But I would have. Oh my god, 2.8. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So Chaos are moving on back in the championship. I do not want to face the Chaos at all, but here we are. So I have to ask, I've heard a lot of chatter online about people are saying the regular season doesn't matter because the Chaos, who were 2-8 in the regular season, are in the championship. So therefore, the regular season doesn't really matter. James, Sam, do you agree?
I like so much disagree. I'm trying not to yell. Like, I don't understand how this argument isn't why did a number 2 and a 3 seed lose? Like, why is that not the conversation? The Archers and the Chrome lost. How is that on the league or on the Chaos for playing well late in the playoffs? That makes no sense. Like, I don't understand where this logic comes from at all. It's like, oh, why does regular season even matter? I mean, it mattered because the better teams were ranked higher and they played a team that wasn't as good and they lost. That's how sports work. It's
right.
not, I mean, it might not, right. And at the same time, all you guys who were very happy that the Chaos didn't have their guys in the beginning of the season, is there not a reality that they clicked at the same time other teams did, which would be 4 games past that, which would have been in playoffs? I mean,
It's fair.
That's not that crazy to think. We had our whole team for now the allotted time and they were playing well. So to give the Chrome an out by saying the league is messed up is, I think, it's mind-boggling at best.
That's my take. It's like we're taking all the responsibility of all the better ranked teams from losing.
Thank you.
You know, people had Atlas being Water Dogs, right? Like, people had the Chaos out in the first round. I think it's just people being butthurt about not having a perfect bracket.
It is.
It's salty Chrome fans that were like, "Oh, Chaos shouldn't even have been in the playoffs." Like, obviously they should have.
Okay, then beat them. Then beat them.
Exactly.
If they should have been there, beat them. It's just that easy. Like,
thank you.
I think it speaks. I think it speaks more to how cool I mean, and again, most leagues are too big to do this, but I love that the PLL put 7 of 8 teams in the playoffs, because exactly this scenario is a team could not play well to the regular season, and then you add on the fact that you guys were missing your entire offense for 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
So to your point, you have teams clicking late in the season. You always have teams in every sport that barely make the playoffs and then are a Cinderella team. It happens in the NCAA tournament all the time.
Every year. That's why we
teams
love
that
it. That's
barely
exactly
get in and end up in the Elite Eight. So it's that's part of sports. Obviously, the team that wins the regular season should not win the championship every year. That'd be boring.
Right. That would be very boring.
I think that it would be a bigger problem in my eyes for the PLL if we had the Whip Snakes going to the championship 4 years in a row.
Sure.
I think that would cause more people to question the league and its like path rather than the Chaos and Water Dogs being the championship. I think that's great. And having Whip Snakes 4P championship run, like, that's boring.
Well, and so the biggest ding on like college football, for example, is Alabama wins every year, or Clemson. Right. And I'm not saying if a team squeaked into the playoffs, they would upset Alabama. That's not going to happen. But you have the same champion every year, and it's always who is the number 1 seed in the playoffs.
Right.
So it's like the PLL does not want that to happen. So what do? You put every team in the playoffs and say, let's see who can upset the top teams. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So I love it. I think it's a dumb argument. I agree with Sam. I think it's butthurt fans.
Yep.
You don't hear any Chaos fans being like, "Oh, we shouldn't have been in the playoffs." It's like all Chrome fans. And
sorry, guys. Also, I guess we need to talk about this now because we talked about it being the season. Like, the Archers are the Saints. They are
confirmed.
They're the Saints. Also, you guys lost and put up 7 goals with the scores you guys had? Bro, what?
With that offense?
Like, go down swinging. Like,
yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Very Saints-like.
I thought with Matt Moore, I was like, you have Tom Schreiber in his prime. You have Grant Ament, who again was injured, but he's back. Will Manny, Marcus Holman, all these guys. Then you add Matt Moore. I was like, this is their year. This offense is too much for teams to handle, and it was.
Now I will give Matt a little shout out. Watching him dodge live, he is one of the best straight line dodgers I've ever seen in my life. And when he does his little push off move, there's no separation. He's shooting over people's shoulders on that, and it's really wild to watch. It doesn't. There's no leverage, but at the same time, we can talk all this about Matt Moore and like his season's over while playing next to Tom Schreiber.
Matt Moore, by the way, 2 for 9. Shot 22%. So
wow. That's
I don't. My question is, like, I just don't know what the Archers do this offseason to get better.
I mean,
and it's like so their biggest weakness is still face off. Justin Ignacio is not competing with guys, and again, as a rookie, I don't think we expected him to, but
Right.
you don't just like, you can't just bail on him. You got to let him
Yeah.
develop.
Yep.
So it's like, I mean, I guess they could use another defenseman. They can always use another midfielder. Gittleman, I don't personally think he's great, but I think that, Chris Bates is a big fan of his. So
Yeah.
I don't think they move on, but I'm just like, I don't know what you do to get better this offseason.
I honestly can't give you anything, man. I mean, they have the pieces.
Dude, their
Seriously,
offensive midfield is stacked.
not to mention they have some of the best D middies in the entire league.
Yeah,
like top to bottom.
Multiple.
They have multiple, and more than one.
So I don't know, man. It just is not clicking.
It's tough. It's tough. Now I will say Grant still looks hurt. I think he's gonna come out. I think he's gonna come out next year. I was telling Sam during the game, Grant wasn't even walking up to the midline with the other attackmen. He was like squatting wherever he would like turn the ball over, wherever they would like stop playing, just to kind of rest.
Damn.
So I feel like his leg was 100%. Because dude, Grant was like crossing people up his first year. And I just didn't see that leg. He's not falling on that leg split dodge he was doing. So I don't know. We'll see who comes back healthy, but I think the Archers are in a tough spot. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, doesn't matter. The season's over, so they got plenty of time.
It is.
So Chaos, your 7th seed, back in the championship this Sunday.
Squad
back to back.
Some other news is the PLL did announce their awards for the regular season. I didn't think there were too many shockers. I think we all kind of expected Baptiste to get MVP. I don't know. What I want to hear. Was there any award that shocked you guys? Sam, I'll start with you.
I think shocked is a strong word here. But I thought the MVP award was pretty even across a few players. So I was curious what they would weight and who they would pick, right? So I'm not shocked that Trevor won it, because he was in that conversation and he deserves it. But, at the same time, McCardle, Lyle, Burnlore, a few of those guys I thought were also in the picture. So it was a nice news, right? After our loss against you guys. But other than that, I was curious who would win the Defender of the Year award. You guys were pretty accurate coming up to that one. So credit to you guys, JT Giles Harris. But other than that, not really, man. Like Michael Earhart, yeah. Tom Schreiber, yeah. So,
I mean, I agree. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, I would not have been surprised if Lyle or McCardle had got. I would have been surprised if McCardle had gotten it, but just because he's not really a household name yet. Just when people think PLL, they don't think Kieran McCardle, but. I mean, like, dude, just imagine how many games Atlas would have lost if Trevor had not won 70% of faceoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking
like he
5 or 6
chaos
games.
record there.
Saved multiple games for you guys.
Now's not the time for that.
I gotta get my licks when I can, man. I'm out. I'm out.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, that one definitely, like, again, I could have seen it going to Lyle. I think they got it right, or even Kyle Burnmore. I think if Blaze hadn't won it last year, Kyle had a better chance. I just didn't think they would do back-to-back goalies, but
that's fair.
I love it. I mean, the faceoff is a position that doesn't get a ton of light shed on it right now, so
true.
I'm all about it. James, what did you think?
Yeah, same. I like the Trevor thing. It speaks to how important faceoffs are, but I think on top of that, and I'm glad they noted it in the write-up they have. I mean, he had 10 points this season. Like, that is a lot for a faceoff guy, including a 2-pointer. Like, that's starting offense, getting possessions, and also finishing offense. I mean, that right there is bringing so much value to your team. You're literally scoring, thinking of ground balls. So I'm cool with that. Matt, me and you had the JT Giles Harris pick, I think, since after week 4. So that was cake. The only one I don't agree with, honestly, is I think Courier's midfield of the year by far.
That's what I was going to say, Dan.
Dude, easy pick for me. I think Courier does so much more for his team than Tom does for his team. But no, other than that, man, I'm across the board. They had great picks. Even Coach of the Year, exactly who I had. I don't hate the Nick Turn one, but I think Logan could have won it, and I would have felt the exact same. So
Yeah, I thought the
I'm really
same
pulling these
thing.
awards. Sure.
Yeah, Nick Turn, Logan. As long as it was one of the two, I was fine with
Exactly.
that.
Like either one of those guys, take it for sure.
But yeah, man, it's a homer pick, but I was like,
No,
I've watched Courier so close this season, and
Yep.
as a strictly offensive midfielder, Schreiber's better. He can dodge better, he can shoot better, but as an
sure.
all-around midfielder, Courier does much more for his team than Schreiber does.
So Matt, and I'll try to find the clip of the game, but Sam and I are watching the face-off guys go at it, and you see Courier in the middle somewhere, and me and Sam at the same time go, Courier's going to come up with this one. And out of nowhere, he just comes through the middle and just picks it up in the middle of everybody. It's wild because we're talking like Earhart's there, right? Yeah. Like Nardell is there, some like really good athletes, and Courier is just vacuum cleaning that up. It's crazy, man. It's really crazy. So, yeah, if he wins it all, I feel like he won't care. But if he doesn't, that hurts.
Oh, for sure. Like
that's how that always is. So,
and I mean, again, no discredit. I think Tom Schreiber is by far the best offensive midfielder, but I just think this season, like the Water Dogs are not even close to where they are without Zach Courier.
No, because it's interesting though, because the Archer's issue is getting the ball, and Courier is basically the Water Dogs face-off guy at this point.
Right. And like we are at the bottom of the rung on clamps.
Right, because he never wins it. He doesn't have to.
Right, but we're in the middle of the pack for face-offs one.
Exactly. Right.
So yeah, I mean, I obviously as a Water Dogs fan, I want to see him win. I'm very happy for Schreiber, but if Courier does what he did this season, next season, he has to get it. You can't knock him again.
100%.
Because then they have to put emphasis on ground balls, like, and how important they are, because they talk about it every game. Who's going after ground balls? Which team wants it more? And then to not like emphasize it at the end of the season of the a team dominated ground balls and stuff like that. So I definitely think we'll see next year. Courier's can keep doing what he's doing, besides an injury. So
yeah,
I would have bought his jersey if he wasn't number 77. That number has no swag.
Dope number, dude.
But no,
it's a little different for like
in hockey.
Yeah, well, he's obviously like a hockey guy too, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's 20
and like indoor, it's different when it comes to numbers.
True,
but I get that. But no, they did a good job with the awards for sure.
Yeah, I thought the format was cool. I think they nailed just about every award. Tim Sudan, as much as Bryce hates him, absolute lock for Coach of the Year. So,
do we know how they vote on these? Like, have they said how they vote, or is it just internal PLL people? I'm curious.
I think they do mail-in ballots. I'm not sure.
Oh,
like from fans?
No, I don't know. I have no idea how they do it.
Was that a political thing? Mail-in ballot?
No. Yeah,
it was.
Should we demand a recount from Paul and Mike?
Oh my God! Don't go to Florida.
Smartmatics, yeah, Dominion.
You imagine someone saying that to Paul Rabel, he'd be like, "Shut the fuck up,
dude! Shut up! I have no time for this at all."
All right, well, that wraps up this week. So again, we are in the championship week here. We're only a few days away from the PLL Championship. It's Sunday at 3:00. Water Dogs Chaos. Let's get into our official championship predictions. Sam, since you'll basically be watching from the sidelines,
again,
give us the unbiased pick of who wins this game and why.
I'll pay for your ticket.
Chaos. I don't know, man. Like you said earlier, Chaos have the experience. I think Water Dogs have the momentum. They had a harder pass to get there, overcoming two of the arguably more talented offensive teams. So in my opinion, I think Water Dogs have the advantage in this game over Chaos. I think Chaos are just, using the chip on their shoulder as fuel. Like, that's all it is at this point. They're just repeating 2.8 to themselves until they get fucking pumped up.
Did they say it like that?
Was that mocking us? Were you trying to mock us?
Yeah.
Okay.
More fuel for you guys. There you go.
Yeah, we don't need it. We got it.
So I don't think it's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to be an over 10-point game. I think it's going to be what we saw last week with Archers and Chaos. I think it'll be like 9-10, 8-10 kind of game. Like it's going to be a grind on defense. And I think Courier, if anybody, will be one of the decision makers here. And just his, I can't think of the names on the Chaos right now, but the equals to Courier on there, that's gonna be the difference.
Yes,
obviously goalie play, but everybody knows that. So
sure,
I agree. So yeah, my pick. I got to roll with my dogs, man.
Of course, you have to.
I've been,
I
mean, I have
get
to.
that.
But,
I get that.
No, and I think as much as unbiased as I could be, my reason for that is I think I did not want to play the Archers. I don't want to play the Chaos, but I just think we match up better with Chaos. I think on face-offs, Withers can beat Adler or just compete with him, which he would do to Ignacio too. So
Sure.
I think either way, we're not facing a dominant team in the face-off category, which is good. I think that is going to let Courier like steal a lot of possession, which is good. But I just think our offense, when it's clicking, can overpower the Chaos defense and even Blaze. Now, I don't know, man. Championship Blaze scares me.
I get that.
Because that dude could easily have like 20 plus saves in this game. But I don't know. I think our weak point right now is still on the defensive side, aside from Dylan Ward. But I don't think we could handle the Archers' firepower on offense. And Chaos are much more of a balanced team, and I think Water Dogs are too. So I think we match up better. This is going to be a close game. I think it's a 1-goal game. Sam, I'm going to ask for your score prediction, but I'm going to say 11-10 Water Dogs.
I agree, man. I don't think it'll be a high scoring game. I mean, we're looking at the two best goalies in the league. One coming off an MVP season, one coming off an PLL Championship earlier this year. So, obviously that's a great matchup. I think both guys are going to play well. I don't think we're going to see a bad goalie play this game. So,
and Dylan won NLL Goalie of the Year too.
Oh, there we go. I didn't know that, but yeah, I think it's going to just be one of those like, hey, whose shot is on, right? Like, can you get him the ball? Can you keep him hot? One of those like, kind of chess piece games, right? Just trying to find that good matchup.
Yeah. James, who you got?
I got my boys. I got my boys. Sorry, man. It's
all good.
I dealt with a lot of grief.
Twist of the year.
Social meds. No, I got my boys for a lot of reasons. I think
a lot of reasons. Hold up. Can we deep dive into these?
Yeah, I have my reasons why I think we can win. Yeah, sure. It's nothing against you.
I thought you meant reasons why you're better than the Water Dogs.
No. I wouldn't. I'm not that stupid. I don't make unreasonable takes apparently.
Oh, there it is.
I'm over it. It's all good.
Go check our TikTok out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, check the TikTok out. God, it took a long time to make. I think on one side, I don't see anybody really, checking Sours. I always said the whole year. I think Jack Rowlett's the closest thing he's going to be to a tough matchup, but I think he's still going to score. But on the other side of that, I still, in this playoff run, I haven't seen anybody really check Burn yet. Not like, he walked through the defense last week and had that behind the back, which was, man, that was awesome. Now, one thing I am a little worried about is some of your guys' injuries. I'm hoping it's all just cramping. I'm hoping that's all not a big deal, but McCardell was on one leg and Sowers didn't dodge for the end of the game. So I hope they're both healthy. I'm not one of those guys who hopes that you guys come in empty-handed, that kind of thing. I hope you guys really come in like that. And was the Ignacio Adler matchup unrealistic take on Adler? Because he looked very, very good last week. And I think if he can look like that this week, I think we can do it. But I think it comes down to the last two possessions. I got 12-11 Chaos win.
Nice.
I think Blaze stands on his head. I think there's 1 2-pointer for each team. But no, watching Jack Rowlett live gave me actually more hope about what he can do with Sour. Man. I mean, his feet are just so fast.
So much energy.
Yeah, right. So I also think Rowlett's a guy that he can make you not want to do the inside roll every time, you know? Like you might beat him one time, but the other 2 times you're going to get taken down and it's not going to feel great. So that might cause a little hesitation.
It's going to be an aggressive game for sure.
Very,
which I'm excited about.
And there's going to be, I mean, between Rowlett and Sowers, there's going to be chirping too.
Oh,
like
yeah.
A lot
That's
of
2 of the biggest chirpers in the league right there.
Exactly. Right. And then again, this is the time for those guys to get back the NLL championship they lost. I think that's big. I know all 4 of those guys before the game are going to come together and be like, yo, Ward took us out. He took a championship from us. He's not taking another one from us. So I got a 1-goal game. I think it's going to be crazy. And Matt, virtual shake. I got 50 bones. My boys take
50 bones.
50 big ones. Virtual shake.
I mean, I'm not backing down from that. Come on.
Yeah. 50 bones. I love that.
Damn, I might have to postpone this wedding if I lose. No, I agree. So my prediction is assuming we are healthy. I'm the same way. I'm like, if we're gonna play a team, I want them to be fully healthy. I don't want this bullshit ready. Of like, oh, Blaze is hurt or Rowlett's hurt.
Exactly.
I want them fully healthy.
All in on
so
that. Yep.
Yeah, if McCardle, Sowers, you guys said Schlosser was in a boot, so I can't imagine he's gonna play.
And he couldn't walk off the field, which was really rough to watch because he tried to.
Yeah.
So
that's
tough. That's tough.
I mean, Schlosser's a tough guy. He might try, but if McCardle or Sowers can't go, that's 2 key pieces of the offense. So if one of them can't play, I think Chaos win. Just because
the only reason I think it's cramping is the coaches would have pulled one of them off.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't have had Sowers carrying the ball if there was a chance that he could possibly pull or break something. And because remember, Matt, it was supposed to rain. And I don't know what happened. The sun came through at the end of the game and it was like 93 degrees and it was like 90% humidity. It was so hot.
It was bad at the end. Yeah.
It was really bad at the end. So watching, because the Whipsnakes had 2 defenders also cramp up and lay down and have to get stretched out. So I'm not surprised if it's going to be just cramps.
Well, and we saw I think it was Fairfield when it was like 105 on the field.
Oh my God.
Sowers, like Water Dogs and other teams, but Water Dogs especially were losing guys like fly. They were all on the sideline. Sowers left.
Yeah.
So I mean, he definitely played a factor.
That's right.
It's up in Philly. It's in Lincoln Financial. So hopefully that's some cooler weather up there.
Wow. Yeah, it probably will be. And one thing, Sam and I talked about this other game, but I really need to give a PLL a shout out. Their game DJ is like top tier music, man. I mean, it's not just like your stereotypical stuff you hear at basketball games. This guy had like remixes. He threw in like levels and like he played.
It was actually fun. It was fun to listen.
It was the same guy from Charlotte. The guy in Charlotte.
It has to be. It has to be the same guy, man, because he does like the same kind of mixes. Dude, it's really good. It really makes the game that much more fun.
Shit, let's get him on the podcast. Let's find out who that is.
Wow,
that's a great idea.
I mean, you can DJ your wedding.
That'd be sick.
Any Water Dogs fans out there? Who the Water Dogs? Whoa.
All right. Well, we've got our bet in place. We've got our predictions. I think we're all set for the championship here.
Yeah, we got 50 on it.
So obviously I'm very excited Whipsnakes are not in it, but
me too.
I don't know, man. And again, this is totally biased of me, but I just don't like repeat champions. I want to see someone new.
Okay. Yeah, especially for a new league, it's fun.
Yeah, like if it was Atlas Chaos, I think. Actually, I don't know, man. Atlas are the Cowboys of the PLL, so I don't know if I can root for them. But
we got it on camera.
We're not doing this.
Camera. It's recorded.
We're not the Cowboys of the PLL.
Why are you not the Cowboys?
How are we?
Well, the Cowboys have had very talented rosters every year, and they haven't won anything in like 34 years or something.
Okay.
Is your roster not talented?
You can't. What? Who's that for? The Cowboys or the Atlas?
Cowboys, not us. Cowboys.
Cowboys should have a championship for sure.
Dude, what do you
okay. I mean, sure, if you want to say that, but I don't think so. I don't think the Cowboys have been good enough to win even a playoff game, even a Super Bowl.
What are you talking?
Well, they haven't in a while.
But to call the Atlas the Cowboys, that's not true.
I will say, I've heard so many other podcasts talk about in past years of people look at the Redwoods roster and they're like, how does this team not have a championship? That is why I rode the Chaos so hard and I was so big on them. Like, I look at the Atlas roster and like, this team has to win.
Yeah, next year, absolutely. That is a
Uh-oh.
must-win year next year
Not
with
this
our
year.
roster. It has to be with our draft picks too. I'm calling it now. Like we have to be in the championship next year for people not to be like something needs to change. Like one of those narratives pop out. Like
So
you're
if Atlas do not make the championship, do you guys look for a new coach?
whoa, absolutely not. Keep him. We are keeping.
Well,
him.
so what's the issue? It's not the roster, it's not the coach. What's the issue?
Chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry.
James,
I mean,
James
that's
is a master at chemistry.
Don't. It's chemistry.
I mean, yeah, but it's the same thing. What like we said for the Archers at the beginning of the season, like it's a must-win year with that draft and the players they have. To not have what we're calling them now being the Saints of that, like, you know, same thing will happen to Atlas next year if we don't.
I don't know why you think your current roster isn't that good. This is like a really weird take.
I never said that. Never said that. I said our roster is good. We have the same expectation. I'm saying your whole like Cowboys should have won a Super Bowl by now. No, fuck that. No.
They were the #1 offense last year. They had Dak, they had Zeke, they had some of the best receivers in the entire league,
CD,
and the best offensive line. It's the
best
same
cornerback,
thing.
evidently according to Dallas fans.
It's crazy. It's crazy they didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's just like it's crazy. You guys
not
are
only
done.
that, they didn't even win a playoff game.
Thank you, and you guys have the MVP.
What
What have you guys done? You guys haven't done shit. It's the same shit. I know it hurts to hear. Okay. All right. So you guys both have good rosters, but haven't performed. But you're on the Cowboys.
We can name a few NFL teams the same way, but all right.
Oh, we could. That's fair.
Okay, fine. Let's pick another team that has a good roster. That's still. The take is the same. No, he's trying to.
Call the Green Bay Packers.
You know what, man? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make clips of you after the draft, and we'll see what Sam was talking about after you guys had.
I was probably talking all the shit. We got Gray. We got Curry. Like
you're getting Sam Hanley, probably allegedly.
Don't use allegedly. Like it's that bad. Well, they have the MVP and their season's over.
Well, that wraps up our episode. Sam, we appreciate your inputs. Side note, Fate of a Sport is premiering on ABC, I believe, tomorrow night.
That's right.
So I will definitely be watching it just to give them a view.
For sure.
I owe them that. But
for sure.
If you have not seen it, definitely check it out. As long as you have cable or ABC or whatever hell app you use. Sure. Check it out. It's only 90 minutes. It's definitely will keep you engaged.
Very good. Very good.
It will be a good preview for the championship, I think. It's great timing by the PLL to release it.
Perfect. So many people.
Before.
3:00 Sunday. Let's go.
So and I actually like the timing of it.
Me too.
I think that we'll get more viewers than a 1:00 start. So I like it.
I 100% agree. I think some of the 1:00 games will be cash and people will
those games are over. 4:00 haven't tipped off yet.
Haven't started yet. Yep.
I like it.
Well done.
All right. Well, that's all we got this week, guys. Enjoy the championship. James is going to owe me $50 on Monday. It's going to be sick. And we will talk to you all next week.
This is all recorded.